Welcome to the Vol Bros. My name is Evan. This is my brother Rustin, and we are two Vol Bros who are actually bros in real life, and are very thankful. We are very thankful for our title sponsor, the Ultawa Club. We are the Vol Bros, presented by the Ultawa Club. We love them very much. They are fantastic folks over there and do great work on their course, keeping it ready for everybody. And we invite everybody to go check them out at the UltawaClub.com. That's the UltawaClub.com. Thank you so much to them. Thank you for all of you tuning in and enjoying a Sunday evening with us. Two major games in Thompson Bowling Arena over this weekend. One yesterday with men's basketball and today with Lady Vols basketball. Rustin, we'll start and we'll just go in chronological orders. Yesterday was the men's game. What were your main takeaways from that game, and what were your thoughts about what you saw?
Really impressive defensively. The first half was an absolute clinic. Up 15 at the half, and just kind of coasted in the second half. Still won the second half by 9, even while they were coasting. I was really impressed with Igor, especially. I mean, Chaz is Chaz. Chaz is going to get his on a nightly basis. That guy just knows how to score, but Igor blew my mind. He was doing everything well, offensively, defensively. I mean, a stat sheet that had 13 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 block, 1 steal. That's just an incredible night. I haven't seen what his plus minus was, but it had to just be off the charts.
Yeah.
Was a little disappointed at Darlington Dubar. I felt like they were trying to get him more minutes, and he didn't take advantage of it. And he really needs to step up. They need him to be a versatile piece, if for no other reason than the fact that Jemai Meshack, they admitted after the game that his hand's injured. He's playing injured. At one point, Jordan Gainey got fouled hard, went down, kind of stayed down for a minute, acted like he wasn't okay. This team can't afford an injury. There is zero depth on this bench. So, Darlington Dubar has got
injured.
Darlington Dubar has got to step up and be a key piece of this 8-man rotation. They badly need him to start contributing.
Honest question, because I was trying to think of a person and I couldn't. So if you're in the comments, you can let us know your thoughts on this as well. There was one particular three that Chaz hit yesterday that was a transition three, and his catch and release was so daggum fast.
Yeah.
I was legitimately trying to think of another person that caught the ball and got rid of it as fast as he did. And so you automatically start thinking about, like historically famous shooters. Larry Bird didn't get it off that fast. His motion was way slower than Chaz's. Steph Curry might be close, but I've never seen him get off a shot as fast as that one. JJ Redick, famous, incredible shooter. He didn't get off a shot. Like I could not think of anybody who had the ability to catch and release as fast as we saw from Chaz on that one particular transition three. So that's my question to you and anybody in the comments. Can you think of anyone literally in all of basketball that can catch and release as fast as we saw in that one particular three from Chaz?
It's been a while, and it's hard to come up with anybody.
Dalton couldn't catch and release that fast.
No, he's a different kind of shooter. Reggie Miller, when he needed to, he could do that. He didn't prefer it, but he could shoot the ball that quickly when needed. It's a short list. I was thinking about that yesterday, watching the game too, and racking my brain. And I mean, it's a short list. I was shocked. There was a couple of times he took shots so fast. I kind of went, "Whoa, what is he doing?" And then he buried it. And I was like, "All right, he's comfortable." At times it almost looks out of sync, but he knocks it down.
I mean, that one, it was just like a blink and it was out of his hand. I mean, it was nuts. Mina Likey, welcome. Good to have you. She said, quick draw McGraw. Absolutely. She said, Chaz is the quickest. Elijah said he's got a Clay Thompson like release, just a tad faster.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin said Lanier gets rid of it fast, but his action starts low. It does. I agree. He makes it work for him. It's kind of like, Steph Curry has a little bit of that in his shot. He makes it work, but I do wonder at the next level if that's maybe one reason why he didn't get drafted this year is because his shot does start rather low. Mina Laggy said she doesn't think anybody's fast as him. Tony, welcome to good to have you, buddy. He said maybe not as fast, but Dale Ellis had a quick release. Yep, absolutely. Other thoughts from yesterday's game when Zakai hit the 2 threes in the first half. That was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like you said, Chaz is going to get his. We know that. It's like Dalton last year. Dalton's going to score his points. Chaz is going to score his points. But there has to be another guy that's a threat on the perimeter, whether that's Jordan Gainey or Zakai Ziegler. It doesn't matter. But one of those two guys has to be able to knock down shots on one of them each night. If both are hitting, hey, that's, bells and whistles kind of stuff. And candy galore for everybody. I mean, that'd be wonderful if all three of them are hitting shots. But there needs to be at least one other guy that is on each given night that is hitting shots along with Chaz. And Zakai hadn't had that kind of game yet this year. And I've honestly been, concerned for him if it's in his head, he's just not hitting shots. Well, finally we saw him start hitting shots yesterday. And that was a good thing to see. When those started going in, I was like, yep, Arkansas is in some trouble. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and start and talk about the Lady Vols and what we saw from them today. And then I'll go through all the comments and we'll see what everybody else is saying about both the men's and the women's games. Rustin, what was your takeaway from listen, well, I won't say anything yet. I'll let you talk first. What was your takeaways from the Lady Vols game today against a really, really good Oklahoma team?
So first of all, one shot, one play does not decide a game.
Agreed.
People can think whatever they want to think. Sarah Puckett averages almost double figures. They left her wide open. She just hit that shot 3 minutes before in the game. The play was not drawn up to get her that shot, but when you're that wide open in that situation as a fifth-year senior, you have to take that shot.
And your reputation is you are a shooter. That's
her nickname is Sarah Buckets. I mean, it's kind of comes with the territory. Hate it for Sarah that she missed. I don't know that she knew how much time was on the clock. She actually had time because she caught it and she kind of hesitated. And any shooter knows as soon as you hesitate, you don't shoot. You've lost rhythm. It's not going to be a good shot. I wish she had just gone ahead and
shoot something like that.
Yeah, I wish she had gone in and taken a dribble into the free throw line because they weren't going to guard her. They were going to let her shoot it. I wish she had taken a dribble into the free throw line, gotten in rhythm, and taken her shot. Because she's excellent at that 15-foot jumper. But I just don't think she knew how much time was on the clock at that moment. But that did not lose the game. In the fourth quarter, Oklahoma shot 31% from the field. In the first through third quarters, Oklahoma shot 60% from the field.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's really good.
But most of that was wide open jumpers, layups, because our defensive transition was absolutely horrendous. And it wasn't horrendous because our girls just didn't know how to play in transition. It was lack of effort. And if anybody questions that statement, why all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, when you're most tired, were they able to hold Oklahoma to 4 of 13 shooting and create 11 turnovers and fly around and play incredible defense? When you're most tired, why were you able to pull that off? I would bet when the coaches show this film to the team, they don't turn on the fourth quarter. I bet they show them the first half and the first half only, and they show them the unbelievable amount of times that they weren't sprinting back on defense, that they weren't sprinting in their defensive rotations in the press, and they just gave up wide open layups and left their teammates on an island on 2-on-1s. There was one play they broke the press. They broke the press. They came down. They had a 2-on-1. The girl actually fumbled the ball. So one of the other Oklahoma girls was able to catch up. So then it was a 3-on-1, and we still had three girls on the other end of the court, which means they conceded the layup. They were just going to stay down on offense and just go, okay, they're going to score, and I'll wait till it comes back down. If they had sprinted back, we probably would have gotten a stop on that possession because they fumbled it around and then made a weird pass, and they gave us time to recover. And we had three girls that never did. So I think the coaching staff is going to show them the unbelievable amount of effort plays in the first half that did not happen and use it as a teaching tape for you can't decide in the fourth quarter, okay, now it's time to play hard.
Yeah.
What we saw in the fourth quarter is what Kim Caldwell wants to see for 4 quarters.
Exactly.
That's why you rotate 4 and 5 girls at a time. Your job is to go out there and lay it all on the line and play as hard as humanly possible for a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then somebody's coming and you're going to go right back in 2 minutes. So I think they're going to learn a lot from this. I think they're going to realize that the fourth quarter is the expectation, and the first through third quarters are never going to be acceptable. And I think they'll be better for it. They're going to have to learn that lesson quick because they've got a huge test coming in Thursday night. And, LSU's probably better than Oklahoma. And so they're going to have to learn real fast to play with a bigger sense of urgency and get after people defensively and sprint to their spots and not just assume that people are going to get layups.
Exactly. I think you just hit the nail on the head. People are like, well, they just didn't hit any shots in the first half. Like they went like what, 4 of 18 or something, like 3 of 17, something like that from the field or from the 3-point line in the first half. I mean, like they just didn't. People are like, well, they just didn't hit shots in the first half. Okay, well, I get that. But part of Kim Caldwell's system is that and we've mentioned this numerous times on the show, you compensate for that by volume. So if you're not hitting a high percentage of them, you're still at least hitting a decent amount of threes because of the sheer volume. And so that percentage evens out. And therefore you end up with quite a few points off 3-pointers. In order to do that, Kim Caldwell said this publicly numerous times. She straight up said, we want to hit a 3 in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. I mean, that's quick. It was incredible today when they held Oklahoma to that first 10-second violation. They said this is the 16th 10-second violation of the season. That's incredible. That is incredible.
And they had only allowed 5 in the previous 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, that was phenomenal. Well, in the amount of time that, we're making it difficult for teams to get the ball across half court, Coach Caldwell wants to be taking a shot within that same amount of time. And not just any shot. She wants a 3 in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. Those are her words, not mine. Well, we weren't doing that. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you're going to take that many threes and if you're not going to be hitting them, then you have to be taking one every 10 seconds in order for it to balance out. And we weren't doing that. They were slowing it down in half court set, offenses and stuff like that. And we were taking shots with sometimes less than 15, less than 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Where's that been all season? That was new. That's not the way Kim wants to play. And so you can't it's the law of averages. You can't average them out and make as many as you need to if you're not taking as many as you normally take. And so I think you hit the nail on the head because you said exactly what I was going to say. The first 3 quarters is not the way Kim Caldwell wants to play. The fourth quarter is exactly the way she wants to play because there was a sense of desperation in that moment. Their full court pressure was making just getting the ball across half court a nightmare for Oklahoma. They knew they had to score a ton of points, so as soon as they were getting the ball, the first open look they had, they were taking it. And kudos to, you know, Spear. She was not. She was on fire. I mean, she was incredible. That's why I put her on the thumbnail of this video. So what we saw, the flurry of points, the flurry of turnovers, the incredibly aggressive full court pressure that we saw, people diving on the court all over the place. That's what Kim wants to do the whole game. Like, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. The fourth quarter is what Kim Caldwell wants to do the whole game. And I hope that, like you said, they learn from this and they implement that from here on out. Because if they do, it's going to be really hard to beat them. Because they were, I mean, that fourth quarter was awesome. Just awesome.
In the first
was
half,
rocking, man.
In the first half, we were outscored in fast break points 25-8. 20 of those were layups. So 10 possessions in the first half, we gave up layups. I bet if we went back and watched, all of them were 2-on-1s in transition. And, you sprint back and cause 3-4 of those to have to pull out and, take a jumper and get a turnover or whatever, get a stop. You just won by 7, 8, 10. They're going to learn that those early possessions matter just as much as the fourth quarter does.
Yep. So, I mean, to be down by 19 points in the second half and to come all the way back with a chance to win the game at the end. And like you said, I mean, I fully understand and I'm confident that is not the play they drew up. But at the same time, when someone gives you that wide open of a shot at any moment in the game ever, you have to take it. I mean, like that is that. I mean, that it was just so. I mean, wide open. And so, kudos to the Lady Vols for having the guts to come back the way they did. That was fun to watch. Let's just from here on out, let's hope we see what we saw in the fourth quarter for all 4 quarters of the game. I think that's assessment.
Hopefully the coaches learned something right there. That shouldn't have been Sarah Puckett in that situation. Where was Tess Darby? You need points. You had 4 of your top 5 shooters on the floor. One wasn't. Why did they leave Sarah Puckett wide open? Because they wanted their big post player to sit at the paint and protect the basket. Well, you put Tess Darby in for Sarah Puckett. Now she either leaves the best shooter on the team wide open, or she's got to come out and defend, and she can't guard anybody off the dribble. So now you've opened up the paint for everybody else. They're going to learn that stuff. Those are things they don't know about their team yet that they've got to experience and see live and go, yeah, we probably should have had a different 5 in there for that shot.
Well, let's check the comments and see. Go ahead.
I think the play was actually designed for Jewel Spear. She was over in the corner by herself and had her hands ready and wanted the ball. And again, I think if they had Tess in there, that big post player would have had to come out and guard her. And, then she could have swung it on to Jewel Spear, and Jewel would have had a one-on-one from the corner, with some time.
Kevin's with us. Kevin, good to have you, buddy. He said, hey, Vol Bros and everyone go Big Orange. Absolutely. SEC football said Oklahoma had 31 turnovers and the Lady Vols still lost. Wow. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Tough matchup. Tough game. Let's see. Elijah said Lady Vols need to work on transition defense. Looked really bad in that area of the game. Oklahoma broke the press like it wasn't even there, and there was a 2v1 almost every time. So he agrees with you. Yeah, I mean, except for in the fourth quarter, because then they were really ramping up the pressure.
Yep.
Mina Laggy said she's worried about Auburn for the men's team. Yeah, there's a lot of good teams on their schedule that are going to be tough games.
Tuesday night's not going to be a cakewalk. That's going to be a tough environment.
Yeah, at Florida, absolutely. Rhonda said, "Hey, Vol Bros and Vol Bros chat family, go Big Orange always." Absolutely. Kevin said he's worried about Florida Tuesday. Absolutely. I mean, they only lost one game all season, and that was at Rupp Arena. So, Nina Lackey knows the drill. That was my fault. I didn't do it right tonight. But normally we do takeaways, player of the game, and play of the game. She said, struggling with play of the game. Adu's missed free throws, maybe. That's pretty good. She said her player of the game was Igor. Yeah, I mean, that's a good choice. Him or Chaz. I mean, there's really not another option. There's those two dudes. Kevin said, thank you to the Uldawa Club. Absolutely. Totally agree. Kevin said Igor was in overdrive on the rebounds. Yep, absolutely. Let's see. Milagi said, I bet Gainey is one sore Vol, and Igor was so impressive. Jonathan, welcome. Good to have you, buddy. He said, good evening, Evan and Rustin and everyone in the chat. Monica, great to have you with us. Glad you're here. Let's see. Elijah said Igor was very impressive. Chaz also might be the best shooter in UT history. I mean, you got certainly. I think everybody could probably agree on at least the top four. And the top four would be Chris Lofton, Dalton Connect, Chaz Lanier, and probably Dale Ellis. And Allen Houston. So top five. Allen Houston has to be added in there too. I think those are all. Probably everybody could agree on that. Let's see. Ron said, I really thought the Arkansas game would have been closer. I think everybody did, and including Arkansas. I think that we were the beneficiaries of a very, very poor shooting night for Arkansas. And kudos to our guys for capitalizing on that and continuing to score when Arkansas was just not hitting anything for a while.
Yeah.
Mississippi Vols said, good to have you, buddy. He said, good evening, Evan and Rustin. I know we lost, but wow, what a game in Thompson Bowling Arena this afternoon. You can just tell this team is different. Even in defeat, they will fight you tooth and nail. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. That fourth quarter was fantastic. I think everybody wants to see what we saw in the fourth quarter all the time because no one can, argue their defensive effort and in the fourth quarter. I mean, they were making it a living nightmare for Oklahoma's trying to get the ball across even half court in the fourth quarter. Let's see. Herb asked, good to have you, buddy. He said, heard Yuri Collins' brother was at the game yesterday. Is that true? I'm not sure. I don't know. That's a good question. Kevin said the guys locked Arkansas down. They did. Herb said, are they going to bring in midseason transfer for depth? That's a great question. Other people have asked that as well. It doesn't sound like they are. But, people are like, could you do that? Well, I mean, they essentially did it with Jarnell Stokes several years ago. It doesn't sound like it's going to happen. But, I mean, they need as many dudes as they can get.
I mean, classes start in 9 days? I don't think anybody's showing up now.
Elijah said Igor's the most underrated player on the team. Everyone talks about Chaz and Zakai as they should. But I haven't heard anyone in the national media really talking about how important of a transfer Igor is. That's fair. That's a fair assessment. Dude is so versatile.
Yeah, I don't think anybody expected him to play this well this fast. I think people thought he was going to be a role player who could give you 6 and 6 a night. I don't think anybody expected him to play at the level he's playing.
Let's see here. Mississippi Vol said the men put on a clinic against Arkansas yesterday. I agree, Russ. One more injury and we're in severe distress. Yeah, I mean that's fair because it's not even like if it's key players because they're all key players at this point. Like you got to have like physical bodies to go in the game to help spread out how many fouls are being called. I mean, what if there's a game where the refs are whistle happy and blowing everything as a foul? Tennessee's in trouble because they just don't have enough. I mean, they will run out of fouls to give. Where another team, if another team runs out 10 dudes, that's 10 more fouls than Tennessee can offer. So I mean, like that's a lot. Let's see. Jonathan said, I know the Lady Vols lost today, but barring injuries, do y'all think one or both teams have a realistic shot at a national championship this year? I think the men's team certainly do.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Lady Vols play every game and every quarter like they did the fourth quarter, then I'd put them in there as well because no one wants to play against that. I don't care who you are. But
and they are built for a tournament. That they have depth that nobody else has, and they can wear you down. And March can get hard on the legs. So they are built for tournament play.
Rhonda said maybe Kobe Bryant had as quick a release as Chaz. Kobe's, I think the thing that was his advantage was where he shot the ball from. It was a difficult shot to block just because he elevated so well and where he shot it from in his release. Dustin said, "Welcome, Dustin. Good to have you." He said, "Akpara on the ball screen, it almost is unstoppable. Helps free up other motion." They were working it like a clinic yesterday. That's for sure. And the alley oops to him were beautiful. Dude loves to throw it down, man. Dude loves to dunk it. Absolutely. Elijah made a great point. He said if Zakai can hit a couple of threes a game, this team is near unbeatable. Yeah, I mean, if he's hitting and you got Chaz doing his thing, that's tough to stop. Mina Laggy said the team hit on all levels. Yes, they did. Nolan, welcome, buddy. He said, with my 29 years of infinite wisdom, I can say Chaz has the fastest release I've seen from a college basketball player. I mean, I think that's a fair assessment because I was really trying to think of one and I just couldn't think of one. Not like we saw yesterday on that one particular shot. That's the one that I keep going back to. Like it was in and out of his hands so fast. It was crazy. Dustin said, oh, we already got that one. Nolan said, we will beat any team in the country if we out rebound them 2-1. Yeah, for sure. Totally agree.
I don't know if you remember what his shot looked like, but I'm sitting here racking my brain, and I did come up with Travis Ford when he was at Kentucky. He had a crazy fast release. He could have been about as quick as Chaz is.
Elijah said, I don't get why people are so upset with the last shot. It was as good of a look as you could get in that position, that spot. Yeah, I mean, if someone had told Kim Caldwell, hey, just so you know, they're going to leave Sarah Puckett wide open with nobody within 15 feet of her, she'd been like, sounds good to me. I mean, like, she would have taken that deal. I mean, that's incredible. Eric said, what's up, Vol Bros? A rough day for Tennessee Lady Vols. They didn't play well till the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. They definitely got some improving to do, but they can do it and get better. Yeah, I mean, that's what's so incredible is, we all agree that they didn't play their best game for the first 3 quarters, and they only lost by 1 to a top 10 team in the country.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. Mino Ike said, I think they're trying to freeze Zakai up to play to his fullest this year, and that is a good thing. Oh, for sure. They want him to hit those shots big time, for sure. Tony said Tess didn't look to score today.
I was a little unhappy with how they used Tess today. I felt like Tess never really had a chance to score. Um, you know, when her group would come in, a lot of times they were going offense for defense. They were subbing them out before she had a chance to get a look. Multiple times she was spotted up in the corner and they ran a high ball screen and attacked the basket and never even looked at her. I wouldn't say she didn't look to score. I didn't feel like she got any touches. I would have liked to have seen her get a little more involved.
Yep. Nolan said the only thing I can say about the last shot is she should have definitely attempted to move closer before shooting. Great game overall, though. Amazing fourth quarter comeback. Yeah, I think that's totally fair because she certainly had the space. I mean, no joke. They were giving her 15 feet minimum, maybe more, actually.
The girl that was guarding her was literally right under the basket.
Yes. I mean, we're talking about 20 feet. Like they were giving her 20 feet of space. So she could have taken, and she had, they inbounded the ball with 9.7 seconds left. She probably caught it with like 7.5 to 8 seconds left. So
Yeah.
that's a ton of time. I mean, you can go the length of the court in that amount of time. So she certainly could have taken a dribble or two and gotten a little bit closer of a look, gotten in rhythm, like Rustin was saying. Elijah said he mentioned that about the transition defense before we even went live. Greg, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said he was there today, and unfortunately, the lack of effort was evident in those first three quarters. Let's see. Mina Laggy said that's not normal, is it, with this team? And thankfully, no, it's not. And hopefully, it won't be ever again.
Yeah, and we all have to keep in mind this is a brand new roster. It's a brand new coaching staff, brand new system. This is the first time they've really struggled doing what they're supposed to do. So, it's a great opportunity for the coaches to teach, and I think they will. I think they've shown that, they are really good teachers, all of them. If you watch during the timeouts, all four assistant coaches are extremely involved in what's happening. I like what I see in that staff. They all nobody's just the stereotypical recruiter who doesn't know anything at all about X's and O's. They all seem to really know what they're doing and really do a lot of teaching. It's fun to watch.
Tony said Oklahoma's beat us bad at the free throw line. We didn't get to the free throw line much and didn't shoot them well when we did get there. You're exactly right. Unfortunately, in some crucial spots when you missed both shots and that kind of thing. Let's see. Papa J, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said the ladies will gel more in a short enough time. Hopefully, they take that last quarter and say this is how we're going to play from here on out. That's my hope. Let's see. The only 10 UC, welcome. Good to have you. She said, hey, Vol Bros, first year, new roster, new coach, new system. Lost by 1 to a more proven team. This year will be a learning year in the SEC. I'm not mad. Yeah, I mean, that's a great take. Like I said, hopefully we're going to see that fourth quarter effort every quarter from here on out. That's the hope. Greg said Caldwell's post game was good to watch. I haven't gotten to see that yet, so I'm going to go watch that tonight. I haven't got to see it yet.
She didn't play. it's no nonsense. This is what's supposed to happen. This is what they did. This is what they didn't do. It's almost like watching Alex Golish. It's very, very cut and dry.
Golish was the best presser ever. I mean, like he didn't. There was no coach speak. It was like
No.
that kid's not going to play this year. He's going to redshirt. I mean, it was amazing. He was giving out information left and right. Yeah. Let's see. Sam, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, can't help but see a lot of dribbling instead of passing to move the ball. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And they're not doing what they want to do. Like they're not doing what Kim wants to do, which is get a shot off in 10 seconds.
Yeah. The only thing I would say to that is get used to it. This system is not designed for a lot of motion passing. It's designed for quick screen, attack the basket. If you can get there, put up a shot. If you can't, kick it out for a three. If they're making a lot of passes in this offense, Kim's not going to be happy because that means they're holding the ball for too long. They want shots. They want shots early and often, either a three or a layup. Attack the basket, either get there and finish or kick it out for a three. So you're not going to see a whole lot of passing.
Elijah said he won't be surprised if the men's team does lose on Tuesday, but he said if we do win, it'll really be the this team can win it all moment. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Josh, welcome, buddy. He said if Tennessee can get the dub at Florida, I truly believe they'll be 19-0 heading to Auburn. I mean, absolutely. This is certainly the biggest test before that. Eric said Chaz has to be the player of the game. He balled. Yeah, I agree with you. He would be my player of the game as well. I mean, the dude is unstoppable. It's amazing. It's so much fun to watch. Kevin said Chaz on offense, Igor on defense, Sakai on driving around, Adu, and Coach Barnes on handling the Adu return. Absolutely. They all did great, didn't they? I mean, they all did fantastic. Mississippi Vol, this is fantastic advice. And he said, one press, that's all. Hit that like button, folks. Yeah, I mean, I'd say maybe two. Hit subscribe as well. That'd be awesome. If you're on Twitter X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, or Facebook or on YouTube, if you shared it, that'd be amazing too. I would love that. I appreciate you, Mississippi Vol, for reminding me to say that. Mino like he said, rebounds are key. I spent so much time. What about? Let's see. So much time about lack of offensive rebounding last year. Yeah, I mean, Igor has been a breath of fresh air on the glass. That's for sure. Him and Akpar both. Rhonda said Coach Barnes showed a lot of class with Adu. I totally agree. Totally agree. Herb said the Lady Vols missed too many layups early. Yep. Papa J said the press did not work well in the first half of the ladies. And I mean, here's the thing. If there's one thing in basketball that is solely based off of effort, it's defense, and specifically full court pressure defense. It is not easy, and it takes everything you got to do it. But that's the way Kim wants to play all game long. And we saw it happen in the fourth quarter. Like it's pure effort. That's all it is. And hopefully we see that going forward. That's the hope. I mean, like he said, she didn't care for the booing of Adu, but she understood. Yeah, I understand that. I get what you're saying totally. The only 10 you see said, I keep hearing that this may be the most complete team Barnes has ever had. Do you guys agree? I mean, he certainly had some solid teams at Texas, especially with, Kevin Durant. And,
if I think offensively and defensively, yes. Depth-wise, no. If Darlington Dubar starts playing to his potential, then all of a sudden, yeah, I think that's a real discussion. And if JP Estrella wasn't injured, yeah, we're having a different conversation there too, because he brings a lot. So,
and I mean, think about what you just said. If Estrella is not injured and Cam Carr doesn't leave, that's 10 guys right there. That's the depth you need. That's it. Let's see. Kevin said just took one or two guys could be enough of a difference to help in a close game. Absolutely. Like I said, just to get more fouls for the team. Mina Laggy said Igor and Akpara, both are great additions. Totally agree. Let's see. The only 10 you see said, I can't lie, Adu leaving might be the biggest blessing for us. He's just not physical enough and it hurt Arkansas. Yeah, I think that's fair. Dustin said Igor has a game slightly under Santi's game, but his game seems more consistent. Last couple of years with Santi, he was feast or famine. He's certainly more of a threat on the boards than Santi was, that's for sure. Eric said, yeah, I agree. Jamal Mashak is injured. He's toughing it out and still playing, but one more injury and Tennessee basketball is in trouble because of lack of depth. Yep. Agreed. Sam said, I don't think Arkansas is going to be a very good team in the SEC. Time will tell. I think they will. They just, for some reason, they just went stone cold yesterday. And I mean, we've seen over the last 6 years, Tennessee have games like that where they just go stone cold and they can't hit anything. So time will tell. But I mean, that that's what's crazy is this. So let's break down the comment here. I don't think they're going to be a very good team in the SEC. The SEC in basketball this year is so strong that you could be a good team and be in the bottom half of the conference. I mean, like it's kind of crazy how good the SEC is in basketball this year.
10 teams in the top 25.
I mean, that's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Mina Laggy said Meshack is my hero this season. Yeah, I mean, the dude is incredible competitor and defender. Josh said our defense is even better this year because Akpar actually hedges out on top of what you're supposed to. Adu last year was so lazy on the hedge and getting back.
Yeah.
TK, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said Igor's rebounding is what's been huge for this team. It was certainly huge yesterday. Major difference in that game. The only 10 you see said Cade Phillips is my favorite. His impact has been surprising. Absolutely. Totally agree. Mina, like he said, Evan, are you smelling smoke again? So she must have seen me look over to the left. So yes, I was actually. This I keep checking on this. What do you call it's not a, I guess it's a reel. This reel that the lights are wrapped around in, you unroll them to put them up. And I had extra, and it's just sitting in that reel. Well, the reel is what melted. And so I keep looking back down there because I smelled it a minute ago. But I don't right now, so I think we're okay right now. I move stuff around, and I don't think it's catching stuff on fire. Papa J said, smash that like button, share, subscribe, tell your mom and them. I think it's a great idea. Text a buddy, I think that's a fantastic idea. Let them know about the Vol Bros. Let's see. Like you said, Rustin, I love the print of the stadium on your wall. Absolutely.
I'm not sure what year it is, but it's Tennessee running through the Power T at a evening Florida game, and I can't remember what night it was, or what year it was, but that's what it is.
Oh, Herb asked the same question. He was asking what game that is. TK, he agreed. Sarah should have taken a couple dribbles in. It would have been a free throw. Yeah, absolutely. Hard to argue with that. Nolan said, honestly, crazy turnaround. The turnaround that Kim has done with this team, especially with so many transfers. Yeah. Hey, amen, brother. Totally agree.
Totally agree. That was honestly, that might be the best coaching job they've done, is they assembled a bunch of transfers who, like, when you watch those girls together, they all act like they've known each other forever. They have a lot of fun together. The chemistry is really strong. The coaching staff's talked about that. Like, they're like, we've been shocked at how quickly they've all taken to each other. It's amazing how fast all those girls acclimated. That's not normal.
The only 10 you see said Caldwell keeps repeating that these things she keeps harping on have to bite them in the butt for it to improve. I think they saw that today, and I'm hoping, and that's a great point. And I'm hoping that fourth quarter, it kind of dawned on them like, oh, wait, if we actually do what she's saying to do, things are going to go really well. Josh said that our post-game press conference was awesome. They know exactly what they're teaching. If the kids will implement it, it's only up from here. I think that's a great point. Dustin said an early season loss, especially if it's teachable and not just talent, can be the best thing that happens to a team. Lady Vols will bounce back. I think that's a great point too. And this was certainly a good loss, if there is such a thing, because I mean that's a team that, top 10 team in the country. You only lose by one. That's a good game. You had a chance to win at the end. Oh, TK said that in her post game, she said that they have to play like they did in the fourth quarter for the whole game. Yep. There you go. There you go. Tony said that I love Kim Caldwell's press conference, especially post game. She wasn't happy today. She is not coach speak for sure. Heupel should take note. I'd love to hear that conversation between Kim Caldwell and Josh Heupel. So, what is your strategy going into a post game press conference? Because they're very different. That's a good point, Tony. Jonathan said, Evan, you keep leaning down. I hope you aren't starting a fire again tonight. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I keep checking on it. Let's see. Sam said Mississippi State looks pretty good. That game is going to be a challenge.
Yep.
Yeah. SEC's loaded.
You can say that about pretty much everybody in the SEC. I was looking at the standings yesterday morning before all the conference games started. 16 teams in the SEC. The worst was 10-3 South Carolina. Every single other team in the SEC had at least 11 wins. And like I say, 10 of them were in the top 25. I think it was during the game. Might have been. I watched so many games yesterday. I can't remember which one it was during, but I think it was during the Tennessee game. They posted that this may be the first time ever that a conference gets 12 teams in the NCAA tournament. That's pretty incredible.
And that's tough to do because they're all going to beat up on each other. And so they're all like, it'll be very surprising if anybody in the SEC finishes in really the top 3 at the end of the season, because they're all going to have multiple losses just from playing each other. Yeah. And, if certainly there'll be teams in the top 10, no doubt, probably even number 4, number 5, but those top 3 spots at the end of the season are always teams with like 1 loss, maybe 2. And there's just not going to be an SEC team that applies to this year, I don't think. Maybe the SEC champion will have 2 losses, but it's just too stacked of a league. And, right now there's so many in the top 25. It'll be interesting to see by the end of the season how many are still in the top 25. But the committee, it'll be fascinating to watch what they do with the SEC, because you will have so many teams. And that's why this, prior to conference play starting was so important for the SEC, because they got to get all their wins outside of the conference, because it's going to be tough to get them inside.
I wonder if there's ever been a conference that had 16 teams that all made it to the postseason. Because if the top 12 make it in the NCAA tournament, and right now South Carolina is the worst team in the conference, and they're 10-3. You have to think the bottom 4 all go to the NIT.
Yeah, that's a great question. Probably hadn't happened. You probably are exactly right. The only 10 you see said, I think what makes Chas so dangerous is that he plays better defense than Dalton ever did. We don't have to play 4-on-5 and compensate for an offensive player. That's fair.
Yeah.
Sam said, I see the Lady Vols dribbling into a trap on the ball and turning it over way too much. Love to see them kick it out for a 3. I think Kim Caldwell would too, actually.
That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah. That's a great point, Sam. Rhonda asked, has anyone heard why Cam Carr left?
The only 10 you see answered that in a subsequent comment.
She said, I heard he didn't like the tough coaching and got offered more money.
Correct.
Let's see. Dustin said, a lot of teams go stone cold against Rick Barnes' defense. That's exactly right. The only 10 you see said that the print behind you better be a game that we won.
Like I said, I don't even know what year it was, so I have no idea.
Let's see. SEC football said, just imagine when Kim gets her own recruits, how this is going to go. I mean, she just signed the number 2 rated class, something like that.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Well, and the next question is, how many of these girls are back next year? I mean, a lot of them are going to get the extra year of eligibility. I think the ones we lose are probably ones that don't necessarily hurt us that much. I would like to see, and I know right now it's just a numbers game and philosophy and strategy, but I'd like to see Ace Strickland get a little more time than what she's getting. I think she brings a lot to the table as a shooter, and I think she needs more minutes. But because of the way they've been playing and because of how they're rotating and honestly, because of the defensive matchups they've had, she's kind of been the odd man out. But next year, she's going to have to be a key figure, and she's going to be very involved. I'd like to see her get some more minutes.
Lost time. Thank you so much for that super chat. We really appreciate that very much. He said, "Sorry, bro, still watching but been working. Hey, man, we're just glad you're with us. Thank you so much. That is awesome for that super chat. You're the man." Josh said, "If Igor starts making threes like he did versus Arkansas and Dubar continues to come on, this team will be tough to beat." Totally agree. Would
Yep.
still love to see one more guy step up as a consistent bucket getter besides Chaz. Yeah, absolutely. 100%
Well,
agree.
and it may be by committee. One night it might be Igor, one night it might be Jordan
Sure.
Gainey. I
But you
think
got to
they've
have
got
at least one other guy each
yeah, I
night.
think they've got guys who have that instinct and want to go score. And so I think from night to night it might be a different person each time, but I think they've got those guys.
Josh, I agree with you, man. He said Cam Carr has to be regretting his decision right now. I mean,
I don't know that he is.
he should be. I'll put it that way. Whether he is or not, I don't know, but he should be.
The only 10 you see address that in a subsequent post also.
She said Carr won't regret leaving until he's older and has thicker skin. Rick Barnes is not for every young player. That's
Ding.
fair. Let's see. Tony said, "I know Jemai has to be in the game for his defense. Wish he would give us a little more on offense." Agreed. Not shooting threes, but driving to the basket. So I know part of the problem right now is he has a dislocated pinky that he's playing with. But Tony, you're exactly correct. Even before that happened, Jemai does need to be more of a threat on the offensive end. He's got to be, because if defenses know when he catches the ball, he's just going to pass it. That's not effective.
I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a good job of picking his spots. And attacking the basket when he had opportunities. And if he couldn't get up for a layup, then kicking it to a shooter. I thought he did a good job with that. They flat said he can't shoot right now. So, he's playing through it, and he's finding ways to be effective and help his team, even though he is essentially a non-shooter on offense. So I think they said nobody put in more work than him in the offseason on his shot. So I think once he's healthy, we'll see him taking more shots. But right now, it's just not even an option.
Josh said, "Don't y'all agree the offense flows better this year? I loved Connect, but the ball could stick with him. Didn't help that Santi and Triple J were non-factors on offense. We were playing 3 versus 5 last year." I agree with all that, and sadly, the ball would stick with Dalton because there were times when they were like, "Okay, you got to go win the game." I mean,
Yeah.
and how nice was it to have that luxury that you could look at him and say, "Okay, time to go win now, go score
Yep.
all the points," and he would just do it. Like I'll never forget, we first saw that really when they were at North Carolina, and like the last 4 to 5 minutes of the game, the whole game plan was Dalton brings the ball up the court and runs isolation stuff for him in the half court. I mean, like that was our offense, and because he was the only one that could score. So you're right. There's definitely more people that they have to account for this year, especially when you have. I mean, I think there was one time tonight when you had Igor, Chaz, Gainey, and Zakai all on the court at the same time. Those 4 dudes. And when those 4 dudes are on the court at the same time, it's hard to say, okay, well, we can, play off this guy and help out on Chaz because that dude can shoot too. I mean, like it frees up a lot of people when you got that many shooters on the court. Dustin said, "Is basketball the same in the transfer portal as football? For example, full availability every year?" Yep. Kevin said, "Beyond any particular sport, how would 5 years of eligibility affect player development in light of the pressure some folks may feel to play sooner rather than later?" I mean, you could say, with basketball only having 12 people on the team, you would expect to play sooner there than others. But with NIL and the transfer portal now, I think those two things have changed the answer to this question than it would have been 3 years ago, even.
Hmm. I think every coach is going to start identifying like a percentage of their roster that they say, okay, we're going to have, for example, basketball. We're going to have two spots that are going to be our developmental spots. And we're going to go after kids that are, absolute butt kickers who are going to come in here and work their tail off, who fit, our values of who we are as a team. And, on the front end, we're going to tell them, hey, you're a developmental guy. You may not play for 3 years, but you're going to have 5. So, let's shoot towards year 4 and 5 and, get your education paid for, and you can walk out of here knowing that you had every opportunity. I think we're going to start seeing more of that, where they're like, okay, this percentage of our roster is for recruiting, this percentage of our roster is for the portal, and this percentage of our roster is for development. um, I just think that's how you're going to have to slice it. I will say this: I do like that the NCAA is saying, let's just blanket give everybody 5 years, because what they're really saying is we're not going to listen to any more appeals about JUCO, prep school, COVID, your injury, her injury, your sister's injury. Like, we're not going to listen to any of this anymore. We're just going to say everybody has 5 years. Whatever you do in that 5 years is what you do in that 5 years. This is actually how the NAIA used to run it. There was no such thing as red shirts. There was no such thing as appeals. You just had 5 years, and you had 4. You could play 4 years of those 5. So, if you had an injury, okay, there's your injury red shirt. If you came in as a freshman and you weren't ready, okay, there's your red shirt. It's already built into your 5 years. So I actually like this rule and kind of hope they roll with it and just say, don't send us another appeal for anything. You've got 5 years. Whatever happens, happens.
The only thing you see said, I think Gainey's pretty consistent, especially after the Illinois game. His confidence is out of this world. I agree with that. She
Mm-hmm.
also said, I loved Meshak's drive to the basket, helped us a lot. Yes, it did. And he actually converted a couple of those yesterday as well. Like he agreed. And Josh did too. He said, Meshak is a warrior. And she said, I think me and Rustin are sharing brains. Sam, I appreciate you letting me know this. I did not know this. Apparently, Squirrel White has committed to Florida State. I did not know that. So I'm glad you told me that. That's good information right there. I wish health and prosperity to Squirrel. He certainly gave his all for Tennessee for 3 years. And oh boy, now we could get into if someone transfers, are they a VFL or not? And
No, definitely not.
I would lean on the no side of that.
You can't say Vol for life if you're not an alum. Like,
I
you have to
agree.
graduate from the place. Um, that's a
I mean,
weird.
not talking about fans, talking about like players who played there. If you left,
Right,
then you were not a Vol for life because you chose not to be a Vol.
right. Okay,
uh,
I had not heard about Squirrel either. That is that's kind of bizarre, honestly. That makes that opens up a whole lot of questions in my mind.
so yeah, Jonathan had asked about the 5 years thing. Eric said a lot of people can't handle Rick Barnes' tough coaching because if you don't play defense, you're not getting on the floor. That's exactly right. Let's see.
So I was just looking. I was looking to see if I missed something on Gus Malzahn, because Gus is still the offensive coordinator at Florida State, and Squirrel doesn't fit into anything that he does. So that is a weird transfer. Like, I do not get why. Number one, I don't get why they would offer him. Number two, I don't get why he would take it. because there's nothing about Gus Malzahn's offense that fits Squirrel White. That's bizarre.
The only 10UC said that apparently he was on YouTube talking about it. Let's see. Kevin said, would guys possibly come to someone like Barnes to develop their defense and look for bigger opening in a different setting? Well, so what's interesting is we've seen that now for the last 2 years with Dalton and Chaz, and that bigger opening is getting drafted in the first round. That's their goal, and so I don't know about if they transfer, because right now you could say that you're not going anywhere bigger in college basketball because Tennessee is number one team in the country. They're consistently, year after year now, highly ranked. So anything now would almost be a lateral move or below. So the bigger thing would be first round draft pick in the NBA. Jonathan said, y'all know why Edie Darby doesn't play more? She seems like she would fit the system very well.
For some reason, they've shortened the bench and they're only playing 10. Like they're rotating the same 10 girls all the time. And Edie Destiny Wells, that's another one that I'm surprised hasn't gotten more run. And then, like I said, Ace Strickland. Right now, they're playing 10 girls, and Ace seems to be number 11. I would like to see Ace a lot more. I think Edie could fit at times. I almost wonder if Edie and Destiny aren't ever going to play because there's a certain, although Sam Spencer isn't tall, it feels like there's a certain body type that Kim's looking for. But who knows? It's been interesting.
Josh said, hate to switch to football on you guys, but what do y'all think? Why do y'all think we're striking out in the portal? Are we making an effort to be younger next year? So here's my take on this. I don't think that we can say we've struck out in the portal until May, because there still is a spring window. Now, I think this might actually end up being the last year that they have a spring transfer window, but as of right now, there still is a transfer portal window in the spring. And so coaches are still talking to players all over the place, even for on teams who the portal's already closed on, and they're like, hey, come to us, go through spring practice if you want to, or whatever, or don't. I don't know how they would handle that. But they're going to be trying to get guys to leave their school all spring long and enter the portal then to come. That's going to happen all over the country. People are going to be talking to people all over the country trying to convince them to leave their school to transfer in the spring. There's going to be a bunch of guys who go through spring, because even the guys that are on teams right now, they don't even know who they're going to be competing against in practice for playing time. And so there's going to be guys that enter the portal in the spring window because they don't think they're going to get playing time where they are. So I don't think we can say we've struck out in the portal, especially with 4 teams still playing. I don't think we can say we struck out yet. We'll know for sure in May, though. We'll know for sure by then. The last week of April is when we'll know. That's a really good question. Dustin said, Gainey seems like a quiet leader. If there is such a thing, all the players seem to have respect for him and his game. Yeah, I think that's fair. Josh said that Caleb Webb is also being super petty on X, so I didn't know that either. He said Duke clearly had an axe to grind with fans and coaches.
Yep.
Let's see. The only 10UC said, if they force you out your last year, you're a VFL. If you choose to leave, not a VFL. I think that's fair. If they don't have a choice and they're telling them, like, you got to transfer, then yeah, sure. I think that's fair. Let's see. Oh, Tony said Squirrel and Jason Jenkins committed to Florida State.
Yeah, I knew about Jason Jenkins. I just saw Squirrel. Like I said, so Jason Jenkins is a great fit there. He should thrive, and we all know why he left. we have defensive linemen in front of him that got extra years of eligibility. So, he needed to go. Squirrel, oh, I got to see it. I was just reading an article. He said the coaches told him he's going to be their number 2 option at receiver. Has he watched Gus's teams play? Like, number 2 option for Gus means we're going to throw you the bubble screen a lot. That's pretty much it. So I don't know. That's a weird one to me.
Vols time, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. We appreciate that very, very much. He said, shout out to Tennessee Lady Volunteers basketball. Absolutely. Let's see here. Mr. Osborne, good to see you, buddy. He said Jason Jenkins also gone to Florida State. Believe it or not, today is Mr. Osborne's birthday. That's what I'm talking about. Happy birthday. I hope you've had a fantastic day. He said, wish the girls had won, but they played hard. Our men's team looked outstanding. Absolutely. Hope you have a fantastic day, seriously. And you deserve to have a wonderful day. And so I hope it's been a great one for you. Josh said, let's win the whole thing and send Deacon Rick off into the sunset. Well, I hope he stays around a few more years at least. So hopefully we can win a couple and then send him off into the sunset. But that absolutely. Let's see. The only thing he said, Edie isn't all that great defensively, especially in transition, same as her sister. Kevin said, sorry, I meant more opportunity to play and get attention, maybe on a playoff team and settle for an expectation of rounds of 16 or something, not necessarily a better program, just more exposure. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly the Carolinas and the Kansases and Dukes and Kentuckys of the world that are going to get, the Blue Bloods that get the most media attention, but Tennessee gets a lot of media attention now.
Yeah. He's talking about basketball, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So I think the biggest question I would have with that is, Rick is already recruiting at the highest level. The kids he's recruiting are all top 100 players. There aren't many of them that can play for him because most of the top 100 players don't play defense at all and don't think they need to. So, the idea of them coming to learn how to play defense and then transfer somewhere else, I just don't know that Rick's recruiting anybody like that. The kids who don't think they need to play defense, Rick Barnes isn't talking to them.
Well, and like I said, people are coming to Tennessee because of the exposure. Like, that's why Igor's here. That's why Dubar's here. That's why Chaz is here. And so they know that this is a place where they can get exposure that they haven't had other places. It worked out for Dalton, so hopefully it keeps working out for a bunch of folks. JL said he expects to see some moves this month from Tennessee in the portal. Probably. And probably again in April, if I had to guess. Bunch of people wishing Mr. Osborne happy birthday. I love that. Absolutely. Dustin said, JG, in my opinion, is a VFL. He was the most disrespected quarterback in my lifetime. Transferred out, but if there was ever a guy who gave it all for UT, it was him. Not popular opinion, I know. Man, that's a controversial one there. I agree that there are very few people who gave their all as much as JG did. I agree with that, physically speaking. I mean, he played a whole half of a game with a broken arm or hand. So, I mean, like, that's agreed, but I don't know. That's I don't know. That's a tough one. Josh said, great interactive show with the fans, guys. Hey, we appreciate that, man. That's why we love this. It's so much fun getting to talk to everybody. We got 462, or now 2 people just left. So 460 people across all 3 platforms. That's exciting. It's awesome. Thank you all so much. Mina Laggy said she's not ready for any sunsets either, but yeah, let's win it all. I love that. The only 10 you see said, "Where the heck is Will from Ohio State? Is he not here because we're talking about the athletic sport that they don't put money into?" Let's see.
So a friend of mine is the assistant rugby coach at Ohio State. If you ask him, he would say that they don't put money into any programs but football at Ohio State.
Mr. Osborne, you are the man. He said, "Thank you, Vol Bros, and also the members of the Vol Bros chat family for the birthday wishes. As I've said before, my favorite Vol sports show that I follow." Well, first of all, that means the world to me. Thank you so much that you feel that way. I know you've said that before, and it blows my mind every time that this is just so cool that the Lord has allowed us to be able to do this and have fun and interact with all of you all like this. Um, it's so exciting, and we should be sending you birthday money. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you're sending it to us, but we should be sending it to you. So we appreciate you so much, man. Thank you. Let's see here. Josh said, "Do you think Tennessee football can ever get into the top 5 recruiting? Seems like every year it's Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon, and Texas. Now Michigan NIL's going crazy. Kind of worrisome, in my opinion. I think that's totally a fair assessment. And until you get, I wouldn't say you have to win it, but until you play for a national championship in the national championship game, I don't think you're going to crack the top 5. Because if you're, I mean, I think they certainly should be in the top 10 at least because they've been in the playoff. But until you're in the championship game, I think it'd be tough to crack the top 5.
I have a slightly different opinion on this. I don't want to be top 5 in recruiting. I want to be top 5 in the portal, and I want to be top 10 to 15 in recruiting. I would rather we put NIL money into guys who can come in and help right now and not guys who may or may not be around in 3 years. Um, I think you've got to attack recruiting. You've got to do what you got to do to get the players you need for depth purposes, and you develop them as best you can. But I just don't think that. I think the time of developing a program is officially gone, and you're developing teams. And so I would much rather spend money in the portal than on high school kids.
Controversial, but I think it's a fair take. Because, like you said, you're not developing programs anymore; you're developing teams. And here, so the next question actually is a great example of that. Sam asked, "Does Miles Kitselman get another year?" He does, actually. That's already been declared. He's been granted another year. So, I mean, that's a great example of that. Like, you're getting him for 1 year. It just so happens we looked into 2 years. I mean, like he said, JG was a warrior. He was beat to heck. He was. His offensive lines that he played behind were not good. Totally agree. Dustin said JG played under 3 offensive coordinators, 2 bad coaches. He loved the team and the fans. He loved the team for sure. I think the fans drove him nuts. Let's see. Hey, Minolaki, she said the Vol Bros are the best. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Vols Time said, "Who needs the NFL when you can get rich in college football?" Yeah, man, exactly. And now, forget even college football. Missouri, I'm going to give a lot of credit to Rustin for 100% correctly predicting exactly what would happen
a year ago.
Yeah, with the Nwari kid from Missouri. Missouri, which to their credit, they were trying to be forward thinking, and Missouri implemented a rule last year that high school kids could go ahead and start receiving their NIL money as seniors in high school if they committed to play at Missouri and played and went to school there. There was no time.
At any Missouri State school.
Right. And there was no like time restriction on that. You just had to go to that school. Well, Rustin straight up said when Williams and Nwari committed to Missouri, he said he's going to start getting his NIL money now. He's going to go to Missouri, play there 1 year, and then into the transfer portal and go somewhere else. And that is literally exactly what happened. Like to the T, that's exactly what happened. The first transfer portal window that opened, he was in it day one and was gone. And he got all the money he wanted to from his senior year and freshman year, senior year of high school, freshman year of college, and now he's going somewhere else to chase more money and a
And didn't
bigger
he redshirt?
promotion. No, he didn't redshirt.
Okay.
He played. He was on the field.
So they knew he was bolting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Let's see. Steve said, "Let's go Tennessee." I agree. Um, let's see. Minalagi said she's the only show that we're the only show that she follows. I appreciate that so much. Let's see. Only 10 UC said, "Got to go, but I enjoy. Love you guys. Take care, chat. We love you too." The only 10 UC. Thank you so much. We're glad you joined us. Apparently, I like this. This was a quote from Kim Caldwell in her post-game press conference today. Pat Summitt would roll over in her grave if she saw the kind of offense I'm running, but she'd come back and chew us out if she saw our defense in the third quarter. Yeah. I love that. That is fantastic. That's fantastic. Tony said the only player that I hated to see leave that I loved Tennessee was Jalen Hurd. But straight out live to that kid and a bunch of other kids.
I'm about to say, let's not narrow it down to that one.
And all of us. Let's include ourselves in that too. Prime example, falling on a helmet. That was when he straight up said, "I'll tell you what happened. He fell on a helmet, and that's the truth." I'm like, you just straight up lied through your teeth, man. And even Reese Davis called him out for it on College Game Day, which is it's sad to think about. Let's see. Dustin said, "I agree with Rustin. The term commitment needs to go away. It's essentially an interim job at this point."
So there's a thought. What if we called all freshmen interns and you have to stay for a full year before you're officially named to the roster?
Yeah, I don't see that going over well. Can you imagine that working with Boo Carter this year? And he's demanding more money and playing time before the season's even over. Let's see. Josh said, "Problem for us is our transfers on offense don't seem to grasp the system the first year." That's fair.
Yeah.
He said, "Now defense, I agree. Yes, let's go to the portal all day."
Well, but
and there have been some cases on offense where they did, like especially if it's offensive linemen. I mean that's pretty straightforward. Receiver would probably have it the most difficult, but even Dante Thornton Jr. did pretty well at that in his first year. He just didn't catch anything. That was his problem until he got injured, and then he started catching stuff.
But transfers are in the same boat freshmen are. I mean,
yeah.
It's the freshmen. How many freshmen has Josh Heupel ever even put on the field?
Like he said, you're a soothsayer. Green Wave, I'm sure I'm missing something on this comment, but I hope you're enjoying your sausage biscuit, buddy. I'm sure I'm missing something there, and I'm looking like a stupid old man right now. But
I think he's just bragging on his cooking skills.
Oh, okay. We're glad you're with us, Green Wave. Kevin said, "Well, Rustin, that approach seems to have been proved out with Dalton, Chaz, and Igor in basketball. But as Evan pointed out, that's with a 10-person roster versus college football. Maybe not as impactful in college football."
I think it's all percentages. I mean, look at baseball. Tony Vitello has a percentage of players that he signs every year. He has a percentage of developmental guys, and then he has a percentage for transfers that he knows, okay, the developmental guys may or may not ever pan out. So, a great example of that'd be Charlie Taylor. The developmental guys may not ever pan out, so we've got to have a spot in the portal for another catcher in case they don't. And I think it's same thing with football. You just got to have, okay, this is the percentage of developmental players, this is the percentage of high school kids, and this is the percentage of portal guys that we've got to go get in case any of these high school kids don't pan out. This year is going to be hard. We talked about this the other night with Jordan Moore. by my calculation, they've only got room for 4 portal guys. They signed too many high school kids. And so, unless other people leave, right now they can only sign 4 people out of the portal.
Jonathan said he thinks within the next 10 years, the SEC and Big Ten will be the only conferences and the NCAA will no longer exist. It's possible. Let's see. He said also the group of 5 teams will have 2 conferences and have their own championship. I mean, who knows at this point? Who knows? Money's going to be involved somehow. That's the major factor. So, Mr. Osborne said, I heard the Branch brothers are going to Georgia. It's my understanding Tennessee didn't even get a visit from them. I guess I'm surprised because I'd rather play with Nico and not Gunner. Yeah, I mean, that's fair, especially with the familiarity with Nico and Zachariah.
I think that comes back to what I just said. You've got 4 portal spots. The Branch brothers were a package deal, and one of them is not very good. And so I don't think Tennessee was in a position to say, yeah, we'll take you and your average brother, and now we can only get 2 guys out of the portal. They've got to be the 4 spots they have to use have got to be 4 high impact players. And I think they told them, if it's a package deal, we're a no.
Let's see here. Sam said, I did want to hear the pet band play Take the Money and Run for Jonas. That'd be funny. Steve said, thanks, guys. Passed on my comment. Well, I'm sorry. If you were the one that had profanity in it, that's why I didn't show it. Yeah. There's the key. Ballstein said, I hit the like button and gave it a thumbs up. Hey, I appreciate that very much. Greenwave said, Rustin nailed it. I'm cooking big time. Hey, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Well, I hope you're enjoying that food, man. Sounds really good. Steve said we're all broke, so he understands Jonas going to get money. Kevin said, I appreciate that perspective, adding baseball to see how the approach can ask a scale makes sense. Dustin said, Tony Vitello is all Vol. He's literally everywhere at every home game, basketball and football. Best hire for the university, in my opinion. Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point.
They've already made a GIF of him and Zakai dapping each other during the game yesterday. Like, that took all of 30 seconds to get out there.
That was pretty cool. Mr. Osborne said Gerard Mayo was fired by the Patriots today. That is correct. He was. He only got 1 year. He said that's rough. NFL anywhere. That's rough. I agree.
And what was amazing was they sent Joe Milton out to get his first NFL start, and he leads them to a win over the Bills. And played really well.
Greenwave said, as far as the Branch brothers go, we've got enough people for the slot. We need a big frame outside guy. Yeah, that's fair. Josh said, do we need David Sanders to be a day one starter? Or do we feel good about the offensive line? That's a great question. And I don't think we know the answer to that yet. And I don't think we will until May. But because surely they're looking at somebody in the portal, unless they feel really, really good about Bennett Warren. And that we know Lance Hurd's going to be at left tackle. So who's going to be a right tackle? Could Bennett Warren, be the guy ready to go after redshirting this year? Maybe. Dude will be a stud before he leaves Tennessee. That's my prediction. So I think, it's going to be either David Sanders or Bennett Warren at right tackle. One of the two.
Or both. You need at least 8 guys.
Yeah, that's true.
So I never feel good about the offensive line. It's the hardest position to coach. It's the hardest position to create quality depth.
That's a great point. It's almost impossible to create quality depth because you need at least 10 guys that you can put out there that you trust, and nobody's going to want to sit half the game. Everybody's going to play. So if they're good, they're going to transfer. That's a great point. Josh said, bring Gerard Mayo home. Amen. Absolutely.
I tell you, though, I don't think he would take it because guys who go to the NFL because they want nothing to do with college football. But if, and this is a massive if Tim Banks did leave, that would be one heck
Yeah,
of a defensive coordinator.
that's a great point. That's a very good point. JL said I saw some USC fans saying at Branch dropped a lot of passes this season. His production is an overwhelming 800 yards in 2 seasons. That's a fair point. Jonathan said, I don't know if Chattanooga is supposed to get as much snow and ice as we are in Middle Tennessee, but if you are, I hope you're safe. Well, I appreciate that, John. Thank you so much. It sounded like it was sleeting out the way. I got a window over my shoulder on this side. It sounded like it was sleeting a minute ago, but I don't think we're supposed to get hard. It's just supposed to be cold, not much
Mm-hmm.
precipitation. I think our chance of getting anything in Chattanooga is on Friday morning, early Friday morning. But I mean, it just kind of sleeted a little bit today, freezing rain here and there. But yeah, I hope y'all are safe up there, seriously, because if anybody in Kentucky's watching, man, I hope y'all got a lot coming at you. So I hope everybody's safe in the winter weather. Sam said, "Is it reasonable to expect freshmen to play on the offensive line or defensive line? This was not super successful, even for guys like Reggie White. Fans need to understand it takes time to develop." Well, offensive line in particular is a very developmental position, and you have to be a dude to start as a true freshman in offensive line, especially offensive
Yeah.
tackle.
If you start on either side of the ball in the SEC at a major blue blood school as a freshman, you're pretty much guaranteed NFL prospect.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, okay, prime example. Um, think about. Oh my gosh, I'm having a senior moment here.
Derek Barnett.
Well, not Derek, offensive lineman drafted by number 8 overall by the Bears 2 years ago. Right tackle.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of his name? All right, if y'all are in the comments, help me out and tell me who that is. So 5-star recruit coming out of high school, didn't start at first. Even his next to last year was not considered to be one of the best tackles in the country. And literally 1 year later, that 5th year of development, he developed into a top 10 overall draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal.
Darnell Wright.
Darnell Wright. I could not think of it. Darnell Wright. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. Darnell Wright. That's exactly who it was. I was having a senior moment there.
Derek Barnett played almost every snap defensively as a freshman, and he scored a touchdown in the NFL today. I mean, that's a guy that has continued to be majorly productive in the NFL and has had a long career. It's the reality of the SEC. If you're good enough as a true freshman, and they're few and far between, but if you're good enough to start on either line, offense or defense, as a freshman, it's pretty much a direct path to the NFL.
Absolutely. Jonathan and Dustin also let me know it was Darnell Wright. Thank you. I appreciate that. Vols Time said Vol Bros needs to go dark mode for Tennessee and Florida basketball. Sure, we can do that. Our mom got us matching dark mode shirts for Christmas last year. So we can do that. And our mom watches the show. So thanks, Mom, for the shirts. We will wear those. We can do that. Let's see. Man, we got a bunch of questions coming in. Kevin said, "Where are we on Amari Jefferson?" I haven't heard any update or anything.
I think the fact that you haven't heard anything on him says everything you need to know about the fact that we have 4 portal openings. I think Amari probably wants to come to Tennessee, and they're probably in a wait and see approach to see what their other options are before they pull the trigger on that.
Nolan said, "Do you think David Sanders will be a step up right off the bat from Campbell, or about the same?" Well, if he's playing, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, my money would be on Bennett Warren being the starting right tackle.
Yeah.
That's
If
just me.
if David Sanders is starting as a true freshman, he will be a step up from John Campbell, and we're looking at a future NFL player.
Yeah, agree. Bobby, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said he's watching from Kentucky. So, Bobby, I hope you're okay, man. It was bizarre when I saw the radar and the entire state of Kentucky was covered in snow. That was bizarre. So I hope you're okay. I hope you're safe and your heater's working. Um, keep us posted, buddy, on how you're doing. Let's see. Rebel G, welcome, buddy. He said been in busy week or so, but looks like I caught about the end of the show. Yep. Let's see. Nolan said, I remember when Pruitt was here and we started Wright and Morris, and at times they look great and at times they look like freshmen. Yep. Absolutely.
But both are still in the NFL.
Yep. That's true. Whoa, man, there's a lot of questions coming through. Kevin said, what's the outlook of Landry Jones as an offensive analyst? He said, do you think there's an idea of him taking on some other position?
So Landry Jones has never been a coach before. So he's not taking on any other positions. This was 100% Josh Heupel going out and finding someone he trusts who has played in very different systems in the NFL to come in and help him upgrade our system and add some concepts, add some things from the NFL that he needs to add, to be candid. I love this hire. I think this was great. It was good to see that Josh Heupel recognizes there's things that need to be developed in his offense, and he went and got somebody who can teach it from a different perspective and talk about it through a different lens than the veer and shoot that Josh Heupel runs.
Sam said, as freshmen, those guys did play, but it was primarily because of lack of other options at the time. That's a fair point. Dustin asked a very interesting question. So we got this one and one more, and then we'll probably wrap it up for the night. Dustin said, I'm going to ask a question for thought. Does Heupel need to hire a GM to do the post games and behind the scenes stuff so he can focus on offense?
Can't. This is Tennessee. Philip Fulmer used to refer to himself as a CEO all the time because of all of the behind the scenes and post game stuff that he was required to do in his contract. If anything, it's actually the exact opposite. Heupel might need to step out of the offense and hire somebody he trusts to call the offense so he can be a CEO, general manager, and run everything. But I also subscribe to the philosophy of, if I can't find anybody who can do it better than me, then I'm not going to let somebody else do it. So, there's lots of head coaches who call the defense. There's lots of head coaches who call the offense. And, if he can't find somebody who can do it better than him, he doesn't need to stop doing it.
Prime example, Clark Lee called Vanderbilt's defense this year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jeff Lebby was calling Mississippi State's offense as well. But I get what Dustin's saying, and because more and more and more head coaches are not just coaches; they are agents and having to negotiate with agents and CEOs and general managers and that kind of thing. But as far as like the press conference thing goes, listen, if you have head coach by your name, you're on that podium for the press conference. That's just the way it's going to be, I think, forever. Because you're the guy that people want to ask the questions to. Why didn't you call timeout in that situation? Why did you call timeout in that situation? Butch, why did you not go for 2 in that situation? The chart said we shouldn't have. Sorry if I just brought up bad memories. Let's see. Dan Jolly, welcome, Dan. Good to have you, buddy. He said, if we get the O lineman and speed demon receivers, and Nico still can't find the open guy, is he the bust? Yes, I would say yes in that situation. Bobby said, we're snowed in, but the Lord has blessed us with plenty of heat and food. Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm glad. I'm glad, buddy. Hope y'all stay safe. Seriously. Really hope you do. Andrew, thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate that. Josh agrees with you that his hope is that Heupel's going to get an NFL guy to learn more offensive styles and schemes. Kevin, I mentioned Butch, and Kevin said brick by brick. Jonathan, good night, buddy. He's glad you're with us. So we're at 524 people watching across all three platforms right now. I think at one point we had 525 was the highest we got simultaneous viewers. That's pretty awesome. So we appreciate all you all so much for watching. Big week for men's and women's hoops coming up. The men travel to Florida on Tuesday. That's Tuesday night, ESPN2 at 7:00 p.m. The men play Saturday in Austin, Texas, but we'll be live again before that. So we can talk about that game then. So we'll be recapping the Florida game and previewing the Texas game on Thursday night. That'll be the next time we're live. As far as the women are concerned, the Lady Vols, they will be hosting LSU at 6:30 Thursday night. Come on. It's saying SEC Network Plus. I can't. That's ridiculous. That should not be SEC Network Plus. That's unfortunate. Yeah, they play Thursday and Sunday. So the guys play Tuesday, Saturday. The girls play Thursday, Sunday. So that 6:30 game will be over before we go live Thursday night. So
Well, here's what makes
talk fresh about that game.
Here's what makes it worse. The reason they're on SEC Network Plus, I mean, that's a top 15 game.
Right.
The reason they're on SEC Network Plus is Kentucky and Florida, number 16 Kentucky and unranked Florida, have a 5:00 game, and they're putting that on SEC Network. So because that won't be done by the time number 6 and number 15 play, they're bumping the top 25 matchup, top 15 matchup to the ESPN app. How much sense does that make?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. For sure. Let's see here. Vols Time said that I need to get better at my golf game. I agree with you. You will hear no argument from me on that, man. That is 100% accurate. I'm trying. That's for sure. Josh, glad you're with us, buddy. Sam said new wide receiver commit Tyron Evans.
It's class of 26.
Oh, okay. I got you. I thought we were talking about somebody from the portal or something.
No.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. That's good. Mina Likey said, smash that like button. I think it's great advice. Absolutely. Nolan said, I'd rather they just not televise the game than put it on Bell South TV plus Ultra Maximum.
Well, it is one step above Baller TV.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Baller TV still uses camcorders.
Dustin, I apologize, man. He said, because you brought back some Batterval syndrome there when I mentioned the Butch and Butchisms and stuff. Well, hey, we appreciate all of you so much. And seriously, we hope you tune in Thursday night because we will be talking about the men's basketball game. Kevin said the Baller TV was using Betamax. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Good probability.
Yeah. We will be talking about the Tennessee-Florida basketball game from Tuesday night. We'll also be, we will have just finished watching Tennessee Lady Vols play LSU in Thompson Bowling Arena. So should be a fun show Thursday night. We hope all of you join us. Hope everybody has a great week. For all of you in the path of the storm, please stay safe. We hope you're, like Bobby said, we hope you got food and heat and everything you need. Kevin said, thanks. Have a great week. See you Thursday. I appreciate that, Kevin. He said, Lord willing, absolutely, man. Like he said, good night, bros and all. Appreciate y'all so much. We hope y'all have a great, great evening. Go Vols, and we'll see you Thursday night.